The monitoring equipment beeped steadily in the sterile white room as Oliver's eyes fluttered open. His chest felt like it had been used as target practice, which he dimly recalled it had been. 10 plasma rounds. He'd counted each one as they hit, a bizarre clarity in the moment before everything went dark. You're awake. The voice was soft, almost musical, with an accent he couldn't quite place. Oliver turned his head slowly, every muscle protesting, and found himself staring at the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. Her skin had a faint luminescence like moonlight on water, and her eyes were the color of distant nebulas, swirling purples and blues that seemed to hold entire galaxies. Anna, he croaked, his throat dry as Martian sand. The alien princess smiled, and Oliver remembered the assassination attempt at the Galactic Summit, the glint of weapons in the crowd. His body moving before his mind could catch up, throwing himself between Anna and her would-be killers. The sensation of his bones fracturing, his organs rupturing, his life bleeding out on the cold conference hall floor. You died, Oliver Chen, Anna said quietly, reaching out to touch his hand. Her fingers were warm, her touch gentle. For exactly 3 minutes and 47 seconds you were gone. The human delegation's medical team brought you back. Worth it, Oliver managed, trying for a grin that came out more like a grimace. You okay? I am unharmed thanks to you. Something flickered in those cosmic eyes. Pain, perhaps, or guilt. My people owe you a debt that cannot be measured. Before Oliver could respond, the door to his room slid open with a pneumatic hiss. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees as a figure entered, and Oliver felt Anna immediately straighten, her entire demeanor shifting. The woman who entered was impossibly tall, nearly 7 feet, with the same luminescent skin as Anna but amplified 1,000-fold. Her presence filled the room like gravity, inescapable and absolute. She wore robes that seemed to be woven from starlight itself, constantly shifting and shimmering. A crown of crystallized energy floated above her head, pulsing with power that made Oliver's rebuilt organs ache. Mother, Anna whispered, standing and bowing deeply. Oliver tried to sit up, failed, and settled for not passing out again. He was looking at Empress Celestara of the Lumini Collective, ruler of 47 star systems and commander of the most advanced fleet in known space. He'd seen her face on every news feed for the past year as humanity had desperately negotiated for membership in the galactic community. The Empress studied him with eyes that seemed to see through flesh and bone, down to the very atoms that comprised him. When she spoke, her voice resonated with harmonics that human vocal cords couldn't produce. Oliver Chen, age 28, former Marine, currently serving as a diplomatic security officer. No family, no romantic attachments, no significant wealth or political connections. She recited his life like reading a grocery list. By all objective measures, an unremarkable member of an unremarkable species from an unremarkable world. Oliver wanted to be offended, but everything she said was objectively true. Earth was barely a blip on the galactic radar, humanity still struggling with FTL travel, while civilizations like the Lumini had been traversing the cosmos for millennia. And yet, the Empress continued, stepping closer to his bed, you threw yourself into plasma fire for my daughter. You took 10 bullets meant for the heir to the Radiant Throne. You died so she could live. Anyone would have... Oliver started. No. The word cut through the air like a blade. They would not have. We have studied your species extensively, Mr. Chen. Humans are violent, territorial, suspicious of outsiders. Your own history is written in the blood of your brothers and sisters. Yet here you are, having sacrificed everything for someone you barely knew, someone not even of your species. The Empress turned to Anna, who still stood at attention, and her expression softened imperceptibly. When the shots were fired, 17 security personnel were in that room. 15 were Lumini warriors, trained since birth in protection protocols. 2 were human, you and your partner. The Lumini calculated trajectories, assessed threat levels, and determined that Anna's personal shields would likely deflect most projectiles. They hesitated for 0.03 seconds. She looked back at Oliver. You didn't hesitate at all. You didn't calculate. You didn't assess. You simply moved. Why? Oliver thought about it, really thought about it. The truth was, he didn't know. In that moment, seeing those weapons rise, seeing them aim at Anna, something primal had taken over. Not the careful tactical thinking the Marines had drilled into him, but something deeper, something fundamentally human. Because she was scared, he finally said. I saw her face just for a second before I moved. She was scared, and nobody should die scared and alone. The silence that followed was profound. Anna's eyes glistened with what looked suspiciously like tears. Apparently that was universal. The Empress stared at him for a long moment, and Oliver couldn't read her expression at all. Then slowly she knelt beside his bed. An Empress who commanded solar systems, who could obliterate planets with a word, knelt before a broken human in a hospital bed. The Lumine Collective has existed for 47,000 of your years, she said softly. We have achieved wonders your species can barely imagine. We have conquered death, disease, entropy itself. We are the pinnacle of civilization and advancement. She reached out and placed her hand over his chest, where 10 new scars were forming beneath the bandages. Energy flowed from her palm, warm and electric, and Oliver gasped as pain he'd been suppressing suddenly vanished. But in 47,000 years, we have forgotten something that you humans, in your brief and violent existence, still remember. We have forgotten how to be brave without calculation, how to be kind without benefit, how to love without reason. The Empress stood, and now Oliver could see tears on her luminescent cheeks, glowing like liquid starlight. You saved my daughter's life, Oliver Chen. More than that, you reminded me why humanity deserves a place among the stars. Your species may be young and fractious, but you possess something we have lost, the capacity for pure, irrational goodness. She gestured, and the air shimmered. Suddenly, holographic documents appeared, floating in the air above Oliver's bed. He couldn't read the script, but he recognized official seals when he saw them. Earth's petition for galactic community membership is approved, effective immediately. Full technology sharing, full trade rights, full military alliance. Your species will be elevated from probationary contact to full member status. Oliver's jaw dropped. Earth had been lobbying for this for years, offering everything they had and been repeatedly denied. Too primitive, too dangerous, too unpredictable. Furthermore, the Empress continued, you personally are awarded the Star of Valor, the highest honor the collective can bestow. You will be granted full citizenship in any Lumini territory, access to our medical technology, and a pension that will make you wealthier than any human currently alive. I didn't do it for, Oliver stammered. I know, the Empress said and smiled. A genuine, warm expression that transformed her alien features into something achingly human. That's exactly why you're receiving it. Anna stepped forward, taking Oliver's hand in both of hers. My personal guard is being restructured, she said. We're creating a new position, Human Liaison and Chief of Personal Security. The pay is excellent, the benefits are legendary, and you'd get to travel the galaxy. Interested? Oliver looked from Anna to the Empress, then down at his scarred chest. 3 minutes and 47 seconds dead. 10 bullets for an alien princess he'd met once before, at a boring diplomatic function where they'd made small talk about Earth weather. His old life was gone anyway. His apartment was probably already being rented to someone else. His few possessions packed away. The Marines had taught him to adapt and overcome. But this wasn't about tactics or survival. This was about that moment when he'd seen fear in Anna's eyes and known without thinking that he had to help. That was what humans did, wasn't it? They threw themselves into the fire for each other. For strangers. For anyone who needed them. Maybe that was humanity's real contribution to the galaxy. Not technology or art or science, but the simple, stupid, beautiful willingness to care. When do I start? Oliver asked. Anna's face lit up like a sunrise over an alien world, and the Empress nodded approvingly. Outside the window, Oliver could see Earth hanging in the black. A blue marble that would never be the same. Humanity was going to the stars, and it had only cost 10 bullets.